Hi there, and welcome to this video series which is all about the 7 P's of marketing. Now, marketing is a huge subject. You can do master's degrees in marketing. It's enormous. And where most healthcare practitioners go wrong is they are throwing their time, money and energy at marketing activity without really understanding the fundamentals, the foundation of marketing, what it is and how it works. And hopefully through these 7 P's, that is what you are going to learn. And that in turn will help you save time, money and energy with your marketing and hopefully get your marketing much more effective for you. So let's start with P number 1. Number 1 P is your product. Now this is the service that you're selling, or the product and or products that you're selling alongside the services. It is not the clinical outcome. So many healthcare practitioners get hung up on the fact that what they're selling is a clinical outcome, and that is not the case. The clinical outcome is part of the picture, but is by no means the whole picture. So if you're not selling a clinical outcome, what are you selling? Well, you're selling a patient experience. And what that means is from the moment a potential patient, they're not even a patient at this point, from the moment a potential patient comes across you, whether that is from word of mouth by somebody else, or whether that is an advert, or whether that is a social media post, or you appear on a Google search or something like that, from that moment, their relationship with you and their experience of you and your business, your clinic, your practice, all the way through to them becoming a patient, having some therapy, some treatment, and achieving hopefully the outcomes they were looking for, and any follow-up that comes from that and the relationship you build with them all along that way. That is what you're selling. It's the whole thing. You're not selling a clinical outcome. And understanding that is going to shed a whole new light on how you look at your marketing. Because once you understand that the tone of voice on your answer machine message has a power when it comes to your marketing, just as much as the way your receptionist greets people, how quickly afterwards you're back in contact with them once they've been to see you, how thorough they feel you've been, your manner when you're talking to them, do they feel that you really are interested in them and the problem that they've got. All of that encompasses that patient experience. It's not just the clinical outcome. Your clinical talent in all of this and your qualifications, sadly, are a very small part. And I know as a clinician that hurts, but it's the truth. Okay, your clinical skills, the clinical outcomes are a very small part of what you are actually selling. So you need to start getting your head around that if you haven't already. So P number 1, your product is a huge part of the marketing that you do to grow your clinical business. P number 2, marketing P number 2 is your pricing. How you structure your pricing is really going to influence people's buying decisions. And remember, marketing is all about the activity that you do to influence people's buying decisions. So your pricing is an important part of that puzzle, if you like. Now, your pricing is dictated primarily by 2 things: by your perception and your patient's perception. Now, your patients are looking for value. They are looking to attribute value to the price you're charging. When it comes to healthcare, for many people, this is significant because people really value their health. When we feel ill or unwell or physically in pain, we would almost do anything to go back to being pain-free and not sick and well again and feeling vibrant and full of life. And so that, being able to deliver that transformation for somebody has enormous value to people. So that has an influence on how you price your services. You're not just selling your time. So that's number 1, is the patient's perception of the value. And then number 2 is your perception. Now the 2 things you have to juggle are your profit. So obviously you're in this is a business, you're in it to make profit, absolutely. And also what it is you financially you want the business to give you. A lot of people are in private practice because it's lucrative and it will give you a great quality of life. And that hangs on the money that you can make in this business. And so your pricing is influenced by what you need to make a profit, but also therefore what you want to take from the business, what you want the business to give to you in way of remuneration. Okay, so when you're thinking about your pricing, those are the influences. Now, the other thing that will influence how you price things is a lot of it is around mindset. And now, I want to say something here that some people will find controversial, but it's important to say. Discounting and competing on price are a really, really stupid idea in healthcare. Number one, private healthcare and discounted rates do not sit happily together in most people's minds, because discounted rates comes cheap, okay? And cheap is not what you want to be associated with when you're working in private practice. And when you're looking at what your competitors are doing, in inverted commas, you are looking at their pricing and think, well, if I just go a bit under them, then I'll get more patients. But that has two negative effects. First of all, you enter into this competition of a downward spiral, because somebody is always going to try and undercut you, and that is not the way to build a strong, robust clinical business. But secondly, when you start to aim at a cheaper price point, you start to attract a very different kind of patient. And what you don't want are the bargain hunters. You don't want bargain hunters in your practice, because they will never be loyal. They are not people who see the real value in the service that you're offering. They are just purchasing on price, and those are not people you want to attract. So if your baseline pricing, your kind of frontline pricing is based around competing with somebody else and undercutting them, you are going to start to attract the wrong kind of patients into your practice, and that is not what you want. So when you're thinking about your pricing, think about the kind of patients you want to attract, the value that they will give to being well and pain-free, as well as how much you need to make a profit and what you want the business to give you in sort of remuneration. The other thing to think about when you're thinking about your pricing is how people pay you, because again, this can enable people who, for some, the price point might be too high. For example, they haven't got medical insurance. But if you allow them either credit terms or to make split payments, you're enabling people to pay the same price but still access your services, but do it in a way that is manageable financially for them. Whereby, if you didn't offer those credit terms, you didn't offer split payments, that you would not be enabling them to access your services. So you would be excluding them from becoming a patient of yours. And these could be people who could become very, very loyal and become great referrers. So you don't want to exclude people just on the basis of whether they can or can't pay. And so that is also something to think about, not necessarily in line with your pricing, but in how you enable people to pay those prices, because that is also very important. So hopefully you can see that pricing, how you price and how you enable people to pay, is also a good chunk of your practice marketing. Marketing P number 3 is place. This is the place that people are enabled to make the buying decision. So this is either physically your office, your clinic, your space, or your website. So you can have a physical place, but you can also have a digital place, and you need to think about developing both of these to maximize the potential of encouraging people to make that buying decision. So your physical place needs to be warm, friendly, comforting, and not threatening, not sterile, not corporate, not too bland. I see a lot of Magnolia healthcare practices where they all look the same, there's no personality. It needs to be something that attracts people and enables people to feel like they're in the right place, they belong here, they feel safe, they feel confident, and they feel comfortable in that environment. So if you want to do some research on this, a great thing to do is, number 1, set the timer on your phone. And number 2, go onto Pinterest and type in healthcare interiors, healthcare clinics, healthcare design. Any of those 3 searches will bring you up the most incredible, eye-popping interior design and ideas that you can think about when you'll start to consider the physical environment that you're putting your patients in. Now, this is not your clinical environment. This is the environment in which they're going to be making that buying decision. So this is your reception or your office, something like that, which can be much more personable, much more relaxed, less sterile, less clinical. You can have plants, you can have ornaments, you can have soft furnishings. You can make people feel at home and feel comfortable and confident, so that they're relaxed when they're making that buying decision. Equally, your website wants to be somewhere when people land on it, they immediately feel like they are in the right place. So when people land on your homepage, they don't want to hear all about you, all about your experience, all about your qualifications, all about your CPD. They do not. That does not speak to people when they first land on your website. When they first land on your website, they've got a pain, they've got a problem, they're looking for a solution. So your homepage of your website wants to reflect back to the patient the pain they're feeling, either physical or emotional, and the transformation they're looking for. So when they land on that homepage, they go, oh, I am in the right place. This person gets me. They're talking my language. They understand the pain I'm feeling. Oh my goodness, look, they've done it for X, Y, and Z. They've got, whatever. So your website wants to be somewhere people land and immediately feel at home, much like your office. No jargon, no horrible, ugly graphics and horrible big just text and awfulness. Something, some white space, some good quality photographs of you. They want to see your face. They want to look you in the eye and decide whether they can trust you or not. If you've got a video on your homepage, even better. But your website wants to be somewhere that when they land, they feel comfortable, confident, relaxed, at home. It needs to be something that's easy to use, so easy to navigate. Don't use clever headers in your menu. Don't have people guessing. Make it really obvious where they go on your website for the content that they're looking for, the solutions that they're looking for, and just make your website usable. And you are not the person to judge that, okay? When you're developing a website, get a small group of patients together and get them to use it and look at it and review it before you put it live. So you know that your ideal patients are finding it useful, they're finding it easy to navigate, they're finding it easy to connect with you through that website. So is it obvious how they take the next step? Give them a call to action and show them the next step. Now you've looked at my website, now you've sussed me out, now you think that you might want to go to X, Y, and Z, this is how you do it. Here's the phone number, click to call, here's a form you can fill in and send me your information, whatever it is, make it easy and obvious. Okay, so that's just some ideas for your marketing number 3, which is your place. Okay, marketing P number 4 is people. These are the people who are responsible inside your practice for delivering the patient services. This is not anybody who's like behind the scenes that nobody ever sees, your accountant or anything like that, but the people who are responsible for delivering this patient experience. So usually that is you, that is clinical support staff, and admin support staff as well. And it's important. There's a really great phrase in a book, I can't remember the author, called Good to Great. And the notion is, first of all, you need to make sure you have the right people on the bus. And so then what they mean by that is, have you got people in your business, in your practice, that get your vision, that are true to, feel genuinely true to the values that you have embedded in your business, and can see where you're taking it, where you're going, when you want to go, and they're excited by going on that journey with you on that bus. So have you got the right people on the bus, and have you got them in the right seat on the bus? So are you playing to their strengths? Are you utilising their skills, their interests, their sort of just natural abilities to the best of are you enabling them to do that to the best of their ability inside your practice, so you get the most out of them? So inside your practice, the people that you have fundamentally impact the patient experience that your patients have. So the people that you have, first of all, they need to be on the right bus and in the right seat. They need to be given and invested in and given some quality training so that they understand marketing, so that they understand customer service, so that they know and have learnt the systems that you operate in your business. Okay, so you need to be investing in these people and making them feel valued and part of the deal and part of the dream, if you like, of moving you and the business forward. And if you do that, you will absolutely get the most out of these people. So when you're investing in these people, you're paying for CPD, you're getting them trained, you're teaching them how you want things to be done, the processes and procedures in your practice. You're fundamentally investing in your business, because those people are, as I say, are a linchpin in the success and the experience that your patients are going to have. Now, sometimes there are difficulties because you don't own those people. If you are in a premises, in a private hospital, the reception team are nothing to do with your business really. They are there and they are greeting your patients, but you are not employing those reception staff. And sometimes having an influence over how they are, who they are even, and how they interact with your patients can be tricky. But you need to acknowledge that and do the best that you can with what you have in those situations. Now, the other thing with having people in your team is enabling them, not controlling them, and enabling people to act on your best interest and your patient's best interest. And a really great example of this, for example, is if you have a clinic that is running, you know, late, super late, and you've got a patient who has been waiting, and they've patiently gone in and they've seen you, if they've come out and they're running desperately late. Are your reception team enabled? Have you given them the ability to take decisions without having to refer to you? Can they put their hand in the petty cash, or can they pick up the phone? Can they book a taxi for that person to get that person more quickly to their next appointment because you've been running late? Can they, if a patient comes in and tells you that another of your patients is really sick, can that member of staff, are they empowered to bring a florist and book and get a bunch of flowers sent to that patient on your behalf? Are you empowering them to be the best version that they can be inside your business? Okay, or are you controlling them and just saying, you don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other? Or are you flipping that and saying, I trust you, you get who I am, you get the values by which we operate, you understand the vision that we've got for the business, and you're driving that home with them at every staff meeting. So therefore I trust you, and I'm going to enable you, and this is how we're going to operate in this practice. I'm going to enable you to take these decisions without referring to me. Now, obviously not life and death decisions, but customer service decisions, absolutely, they're in the best place to do that. Okay, so that's just another thought to think about when you're thinking about people. So the people are such an important part of the marketing in your practice, because they are really heavily going to influence the experience that your patients have. And sometimes that requires a very difficult conversation, because sometimes people don't act in the right way, don't act appropriately, don't say the right things, aren't coming from the same ethical standpoint that you come from. I always remember the very first practice I worked in, I was told, this was a podiatry practice, I was told to, this is a long time ago by the way, I was told to rebook my patients every 6 weeks, and I said, ethically I don't agree with that, fundamentally I didn't do it, so I voted with my feet and left that practice. Now, if I'd have stayed and made a problem for that practice owner because I wasn't doing what he wanted, absolutely he was within his right to ask me to go, because I wasn't aligned with his vision for his practice. So sometimes you have to have difficult conversations with team members to either get them back on the bus and going in the right direction, or kind of introduce the idea that actually they're probably on the wrong bus and they would be better suited working elsewhere. Anyway, that is marketing P number 4, the people. So marketing P number 5 is processes. Now, your business will be full of processes, clinical processes, waste disposal processes, all of that stuff. But here we are specifically talking about the processes that pertain to the experience your patients have. So the processes within the business that your patients are part of. And that can be from your initial inquiry process. That can be your booking appointment, cancelling, rebooking appointment process. It can be your, something that so many practices that forget, your meet and greet process. What do you do the first time somebody comes into your practice? How are they treated? Are they shown where the toilet is, how to grab a coffee, all of that stuff? So your meet and greet process, your actual consultation process, you know, the process that you take them through when they come into your treatment room and you start doing your history and your assessment, diagnosis and all that kind of stuff. So that process, the follow-up process, the booking appointment if they need to come back process, the treatment if they then have to come for surgery or some treatment, that process, all of those processes that your patients are involved in impact on impact on the experience that they have. And those processes need to be really simple. The language needs to be non-technical, non-jargony. The processes, if it requires the patient to do something, those processes need to be really straightforward, really simple, really obvious, explained clearly in lots of different ways. Remember, people communicate in different ways. So you need to be thinking about, have I got a video that explains this? Have I got a written document that explains this? You know, have I got an audio file that somebody can just download that will explain this? People like to be communicated to in different ways. So enable that process, make it really easy for people to learn these processes and understand what they need to do in order to book their next appointment or get their next supply of drugs or whatever it might be. So your processes dictate, again, what your patient experience is, and that the experience that those patients are having of being in your business and being in your practice. And you want that experience to be so positive that by the end of all of this, they go away and they become huge advocates for you. They become your marketing team. They become the people who become evangelical at dinner parties, saying, oh, you must go and see Dr. So-and-so because he or she is awesome at the thing that they do. And you're not going to achieve that if you don't think of all these little details in that patient experience. And these processes that you expect your patients to go through need to be part of your marketing, part of your understanding for how you are supporting your patients through being a patient and the experience that they're having in your practice. So processes, that is marketing P number 5. So marketing P number 6, we're almost there. Marketing P number 6, this is the one that everybody thinks is marketing, because marketing P number 6 is promotion. Now, what we mean by promotion is all of those activities that you do to educate people about what it is you do and how you can help, and then the activities you do to build relationships with those people who have kind of jumped into your world. So that is what promotion is all about. It's educating people about what you do and how you can help, and then nurturing relationships with people who start to kind of connect with you and touch you in your world in some way. Now, promotion can be online, it can be offline. So your online marketing, your online promotion is stuff that is your website, blogs, videos, social media profiles. They're so important. If you've not got your social media profile set up properly, your social media posts are going to be wasted, but then you've got your social media posts, you've got email marketing, you've got online advertising, so Facebook, Instagram, Google advertising. There is so much from a promotion perspective that you can do online nowadays, and that has huge, huge power. If you only do one thing, here's my top tip. If you only do one thing out of this whole video, the video series about your 7 Ps is, number 1, is claim your Google My Business page. As a practitioner, there will probably already be a Google My Business page somewhere for you in your practice. If there is, you need to claim it. You need to stake a claim on that Google My Business page. That's my top tip. So there's all of that online marketing online promotion that you can be involved with. There's an awful lot in that you need to be thinking about, you need to have a strategy around, and you need to be sort of using in a constructive way, rather than just throwing time, money and energy at paying somebody to do your social media posting. That is great and that is awesome as a strategy, but only if you know what you're trying to achieve, you know what your clear objectives are, you know who it is you're trying to target, how are you going to target them, what platforms you're going to target them on, all of that stuff. So your online promotional marketing is a complex world, and there is an awful lot that you can learn and get right and learn and get wrong. So that is your online marketing, but then you've got offline promotion. Now, offline promotion is things like your business cards, is things like leaflets, is things like presenting at conferences, is if you're running workshops to educate people, if you're going into local schools and giving some health education type talks just to children. There's a lot that you can be doing offline that is also going to be promoting you and promoting your service and your practice. So promotional marketing, as you can see now, is only 6 of the 7 P's. So it's only a very small part of the whole thing, and yet this is the one thing that nearly every healthcare practice hangs their marketing hat on and spends so much time and energy focused on, when all the other things are so important as well. So hopefully you're starting to see how this marketing kind of jigsaw comes together and how all these things interrelate, but how each of them is an important factor when you are looking at addressing the marketing in your clinical practice. So marketing P number 6 is your promotional marketing, your online marketing and your offline marketing, the promoting of what you do, how you do it, and then the nurturing of relationships with those people that you have met via putting that stuff out into the world. So that is marketing P number 6. Okay, marketing P number 7. Marketing P number 7 is physical evidence. People want to see evidence that you can do the things you say you can do. You can provide the transformation that you say that you can provide. And this comes in lots of different forms. So evidence can come in the form of facilities and technical equipment that you've got. So physically you've got the space and you've got the equipment to do what you say you can do. That's some kind of proof and is going to give some people comfort. You can provide proof and physical evidence in so much as you can provide before and after. So you could do a video or an image of a range of motion in a joint, of range of motion in a joint before, and a video of a range of motion in a joint afterwards, once people have had the clinical intervention from you. That is great evidence that you can deliver what you say you can do. So before and after is great. You can do some case studies. So you can write up your case study and you can get it published. You could put it in a blog on your website. You could put it in a page on your website. You could put it in a PDF download on your website. But again, you're providing evidence from experience of this one patient of the transformation that you have provided for that one person. Alternatively, you can get patient testimonials and reviews. So patient testimonials are those things where you ask people to write a little bit or say a little bit to video about their experience of being your patient. That is a testimonial. Reviews are the things people leave online. So on Google, on Facebook, on Yelp, on Yale, on all of those websites where people can go and leave a review, that is patient reviews. But both of those testimonials and reviews are providing evidence to people searching that you can do the things you say you can do. Because here's the patients, they're actually saying that stuff. They're actually saying, yes, she can do this stuff. So that is an important part of the evidence as well. What about awards? Have you won any awards? Because that gives real kudos and provides evidence that you are good at what you do. So if you've won any awards in your industry, you could be promoting that on social media, on your website, in a video, in a blog post, it doesn't matter. But you can be promoting that award, which demonstrates your credibility, that you have gone, taken X number of patients from A to B, or you've done some groundbreaking research, anything like that is providing evidence of your competence is what we're after. Now, you will have noticed there is one thing I have not mentioned in all of this, and that is your qualifications. Now, your qualifications sadly come right at the bottom of the list. There's a phrase in healthcare marketing that goes, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And if you take nothing else away from this video, remember that. People do not care about your qualifications until they know that you are a genuine, caring, friendly person, okay? They want to make that human connection first before they worry about what qualifications you've got after your name. So when we're talking about providing physical evidence, your certification and your qualifications absolutely is part of that evidence trail, but be under no illusion, it is only a very small part of that evidence trail that people are looking for. So by all means include some pictures of your certificates on your wall, talk about going to CPD events and CPD conferences, and all of that stuff, but don't make a big thing of it, because in the patient's eyes, they're much more interested in getting to know you and decide if they like you as a person and trust you clinically, because you're providing this other evidence from other people, from other patients, your case studies, all of that stuff, before they are stressing about the qualifications that you actually have. Okay, and that is just something to bear in mind, and that's why I said when we were talking about websites, don't be plastering your CPD and your qualifications and your initials all over the front page of the website, because people at that point don't care about that stuff. They want to get to know you, they want to know that they're in the right place and that you're a caring, genuine clinician who has their interest at heart before they worry about what your qualifications are. So that is marketing P number 7. Okay, so hopefully from all of that, there is something that you have learned about marketing, something that is going to help you underpin your marketing activity now with more rigor, with more solid foundations, with a different perspective altogether, that is going to mean that you're going to save time, money and energy, and that your marketing is going to be way more effective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marketing Ps in there somewhere. I want you to have a think about 2 takeaways that you can take now and start implementing in your practice tomorrow. Look through the notes that you've written, choose 2 things, and I want you to start taking action on those 7 Ps. Start doing something differently, start implementing a new system, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing, or just do something different with your marketing that is going to mean you're going to move you and your practice forward. That is my wish for you, okay, that you're going to use all this stuff that I've given you and start actually doing things differently, and start building a practice that you love and that serves you brilliantly. So that's it. That is my overview of the 7 Ps of marketing.